Moral or immoral, just or unjust, it is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Some women feel overwhelmed, some feel scared, and some don't know what to do. The Supreme Court decision of Roe v. Wade in 1973 needs to be overturned because abortion is murder in every way. Today I will be addressing the topic of abortion in the Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decision in hopes to persuade you that abortion is wrong and that we need to take a stand against it. Roe v. Wade needs to be overturned because the baby has rights from the time of conception. The number of abortions is growing rapidly. Abortions are dangerous to a woman's health, and they can cause extreme guilt. Now, the baby does have rights from the time of conception. Let's think about it this way. When a pregnant woman who is hit and killed in a vehicle accident, the defendant is held with 2 accounts of manslaughter. So why is it in this case that the baby in the womb is considered to be life, but in the case of abortion it's just considered to be a fetus? If death is defined by when the heart stops, why isn't it defined by when the heart begins? We all know that when pregnant women go to the doctor to get their ultrasounds, that they're looking for the baby's heartbeat to make sure everything is going well and that the baby is healthy. So, if we're towards the end of our life and at the doctor we're sick and our heart stops, of course we are pronounced dead. So why is it that when the baby in the womb's heartbeat begins, that it's not considered life? Psalm 139:13 says, "For you created my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb." Thomas Jefferson also said that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. God has a purpose and plan for each one of our lives. We do not want to deny them that right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness with the termination of their life in the case of an abortion. Secondly, the number of abortions is growing and becoming increasingly disturbing. So many babies have lost their right to life since Roe v. Wade was passed in 1973. Now, we probably all know about the Nazi Holocaust that took place around the World War II era. Millions of people lost their lives in a brutal way. The death toll equaled around 20 million people. Now, since Roe v. Wade in 1973, there has been over 60 million abortions. That is 3 times the amount of life that were lost due to the Holocaust. Another big proponent of this is Planned Parenthood. We have all heard about Planned Parenthood in the news lately, especially since the election, due to the federal funding and what they're all about and what they actually do. However, the truth of the matter is that Planned Parenthood has performed over 7 million of the abortions since 1973. I believe that Planned Parenthood needs to be cut off from any federal funding because I do not want my tax dollars paying for something that I am strongly against. But that's the topic for another discussion. Thirdly, abortions are extremely dangerous to a woman's health. When most women walk into an abortion clinic, I don't think they truly understand the risks that they are taking. Since abortion became legal, hundreds of women have lost their lives. And aside from dying from the procedure, infections and diseases are also a big risk that a woman takes when she decides to have an abortion. I believe that it's extremely ironic that some women have an abortion to quote-unquote save their lives, when having the procedure itself can be detrimental to their health. Which brings me to the point that doctors are not God. We hear a lot of times that abortions are done because the doctors predict that the woman's health is going to decline or that the baby will not be healthy and in turn have health problems after it is born. However, that is just a medical hypothesis. They are not God and they don't know for sure what the outcome is going to be. A great story about that is about Tim Tebow. He was a college football star and went on to play for a few teams in the NFL. All in all, he is a great young man and has a great heart for the Lord and a servant to other people. But his mother was a missionary when she was pregnant with him, and the doctor highly recommended that she abort him because the doctor said he was going to have many health problems and probably not make it very long after he was born. However, look at him today. Lastly, abortions can cause extreme guilt. I think this is something also that a lot of women don't think about when they decide to have an abortion, because they are thinking about fixing the problem right then that they are facing. However, PASS is post-abortion stress syndrome, and the psychological effects of PASS can be present no matter what religion, political views, or experience that one holds. So it's not just like a Christian who has an abortion or someone who becomes a Christian after abortion is going to feel guilty because that is wrong. No, most women and almost all women who have an abortion feel guilt or stress in some way post-abortion. A great song about that is Lucy from the Christian rock band Skillet. A few years ago, I was at their concert, and their lead singer, John Cooper, told the real reason and the story behind that song. It's about a young couple who decides to have an abortion because they're not ready for their child. And shortly after the abortion, they feel extreme guilt and feel that was not the right decision. So to cope with their guilt, they name the child Lucy and buy her a headstone to have a little memorial service, and they continue to visit that headstone and remember the girl she could have grown up to be, and what she might have done with her life. However, due to their decision, they never got to find out, and neither did Lucy. Which brings me to the point that abortions are not a long-term fix. Most women who have abortions want to fix the problem right then and there. They might not be ready financially or emotionally, so they are looking to fix that problem immediately. However, the lady who played Jane Roe in the Roe versus Wade decision, several years later, completely changed her mind. She was the one who was the proponent towards pro-choice and wanted to legalize abortions. However, she had an abortion in the early 70s when this was going on, and she had symptoms of PASS and the post-abortion guilt, and she completely changed her mind, and now she lives her life as a proponent to pro-life and to overturn the Roe versus Wade decision. Also, on the terms of it not being a long-term fix, is that people always want to bring up the fact of rape and incest. Well, what do you say about the woman who is raped or a product of incest who doesn't want to bring that baby into the world? Well, the number of abortions that are performed from those instances account for less than 1% of the abortions that are performed here in the U.S. So, entirely, the not being able to afford a baby or not being ready for a baby accounts for over 50% of the reasons why abortions are done, which in my opinion is extremely selfish. So in conclusion, Roe versus Wade needs to be overturned because the baby has rights from the time of conception. The number of abortions is growing rapidly. Abortions are dangerous to a woman's health, and they can cause extreme guilt. I believe in the sanctity of life and that everyone deserves the right to it. God has a purpose and a plan for each of our lives, and it is not up to us to take that away from someone. Therefore, I hope you learned a little more about abortion and will help to stand up to defend the overturning of Roe versus Wade.